Hi, everybody. It's RPG Grandma. Peace, everybody. So, I had an epiphany yesterday where I was driving, doing my job and stuff, about how creativity manifests itself in role playing games. You're like, what are you talking about? Well, we all think differently. We all are inclined to do certain things certain ways. Um, some people are super focused, very linear thinkers. Others kind of hop around mentally. Some of us are very emotional. Some of us are very logical and like emotions, right? Um, some of us love math. Others, no, keep the math away. Some love history. Some love to do art. Some like to build things. Some people are puzzle solvers. So when I'm getting in, men and women really do think differently. And when you look at all the theories of thought, like the colors, and that lines up with different personalities, and there's a whole bunch of different trademark systems on that. So we're not going to get in that, or left brain and right brain, which is now being argued that's not the way things work, or the color of your eyes decide what kind of personality traits you're going to have. Total old world, old days bunk. I don't even know why it showed up in the 80s again. Or uh, gosh, there's just like introvert, extrovert, all these different ways that we think, right? But people have tried to explain it. Our personalities, and then how we actually process stuff, how it filters into our brain, how we react to it, that kind of thing. Well, look at creativity. Look at the things that you really enjoy watching, reading, doing. It can be work, it cannot be work. It can be school, it can be, free stuff. What are things you really enjoy? Then think about your game tables. Think about how that manifests into how you create a character, how you present a character, how you write an adventure. How do you manifest this stuff into something that's a game? And I think if you start watching like different people's games and different people's style of games and their discussions on different styles of gaming, and what's the right way to do it and what's the wrong way to do it, that kind of stuff, and kind of remove yourself from the debate of right and wrong and just like, okay, I'm just going to watch so and so do their thing. 8-hour games, wow, I not since high school. um, uh, More power to them. Versus and they're very tactical games, very bored, moving the people around. Think about, are you an audio visual person? Do you imagine a lot? Like, are you in your head a lot? Or are you very much touch it, feel it, do something with it person? Okay. Um, do you think about that? And then think about the people that you hang with in your role playing games and how they are. Don't project you onto them. Just how are they? What do they seem to be their jam? And then think about how that manifests in the game. I am convinced at this point that the extremes that we see, besides just how role playing games developed over time and then that led to styles in and of itself, and then also examples that were later put into books, which also creates a style of play, how that all interacted. But I also think it has to do with how we express our creativity. So, if you're not into building models, you're not going to build models. You're not going to be into terrain. If you're not into painting little miniatures already, like if you don't think that's cool, models, model people, toy soldiers, you're not going to be into making toy soldiers. Now, but if you're like super mathematical, you might still, maybe you don't like to paint it, maybe you just like to buy the stuff pre-made or whatever, but you're still going to be like, okay, now I need the grid, big grid here, I need all that, because you're super mechanical, you're super mathematical in your thinking. I'm not saying that's wrong, I'm just saying that's the way you are. So, and maybe you're kinetic, maybe there's a different reason that you like that, because I got a little shot glass here, you like, you want to do something. You need the dice. No, you don't want the DM rolling all the dice. You want to roll. You don't want the computer doing it. You want some dice. Darn it. So you get to do something, right? Other than mark out the hit points that you lost, right? Or now you have less dexterity, depending on how the game works, right? So maybe you're a very competitive and you're always looking for that edge to win. And so there's like different ways to do that in role playing games, from how the character is built to how the rules as written are, and you're looking for those. You want to push that envelope so that you know all the time with the game master. Okay, and then game masters, how are you? Are you super mechanical? Are you a graph person? You into the bell curves? Or you're into statistics? Or no, they don't like that. You're into storytelling. You're into, okay. You have to understand who you are, because that's very, very, very much going to affect the creativity that is manifested at the table. And I'm not saying one form of creativity is better than another. I'm just pointing out something that occurred to me, that we have these extremes. Yeah, let me get it here. We have the extremes because of our thinking process. And one's not better than the other. So, like the people who are into drama are going to gravitate more that direction. People who are into, reading books and imagining things and listening to audio tapes or old radio shows and imagining the scenario, they're going to be more into the imagining. Okay, especially new people coming in. But people who are more used to playing, yes, I need to measure stuff out, and they're gonna have all the little gizmos and graphs and stuff. There's people who want the fast game, who want things moving. They want action, action. So maybe those people are more on the kinetic game, because as long as they have the sense of moving, they within the game, regardless of how the game's being manifested. But when they're sitting there doing nothing, because you got this monster that's this long, it's taking forever to kill, and it's that strict mechanical hierarchy, and so that you got to wait for everybody to come back to you before you can do something. And there's no communication between the players. They're going to be disconnected. So reason I'm saying this is, first, as a GM, you got to know kind of like where you fall in the scale. So that's what I want you to think about. Then the next thing you got to know is, and try to understand, is the people at your table. So when you see interest being lost, it's like, why? When are they excited? When are they engaged in the game, and when aren't they? You have to acknowledge that, and then you have to find some way to help those people be engaged all the time. And I'm not talking about the obvious distraction stuff like their cell phones and junk. I'm getting that away from people now. It's so hard. Oh my gosh. But I'm talking about, when they're engaged, and then when they're like this. All right? Getting the whole group talking back and forth like you're not even there, that's a good thing. Okay? Because regardless of whether they're you got all little pieces out on the board, or you're doing the imagination in your mind thing, that keeps everybody engaged, absolutely, in whatever's going on. So you want to encourage that period. I'm sure of. But I want you to think about how creativity manifests on your board. Is it drawing? People drawing? Is it people having weird ideas for character builds? I got one of those. We'll talk about that in another video. Is it the model building? Is it the maps? Is it just descriptions and them trying to act things out as best they can? I think it's because we're wired differently, and we have different personalities and different socialization and different experiences, and we're bringing that to the game. So be open to how people do different things, and watch different things on the net, and then see what might help your game. Be open to creativity that's different than your own, but understand your own too. That way you can help other people, and you can better communicate, because it does all still come down to a form of communication. The better you get it, I really believe, the better the games are. Anyway, peace. Take care. We're not doing a big psychological thing. That'll be like a 2-hour video. We're not doing that. But just think about it.